now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Radio Public, Anchor FM, and also on iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. You can also take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with a wonderful lady from California. She's a self-published author and owner of GoodBooks.com. She's published 10 books from relationship to fairy tales and been married for 52 years. She's also a breast cancer survivor and also got books called The Best Way to Keep a Man is to Let Him Go, A Breast Cancer to Greater Joy, Mother's Dozen, and also something about dogs as well, too. Got an anti-bullying message. And also did her first book as well, too. And before we get into all of that, I'd like to welcome in who's not just good, has a lot of books, but just good books. So in a short, succinct way, ladies and gentlemen, live from California, putting the good in books together, Joyce Fields. Joyce, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you too, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. So you're a self-published author and owner of GoodBooks.com. You published 10 books from relationship...
Good Short Books.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
GoodShortBooks.com.
All right, thanks for clarifying. So it's Good Short Books, so we got that. So...
And I am a co-owner along with my sister. There are 11 books there. I wrote 10. My sister wrote 1.
Okay.
The one about the dog.
Oh, amazing, too. Let's, before we get into all that, just tell us how you got started.
How we got started?
Correct, yes. Like, starting as an author.
Well, I wrote my first book in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a memoir. I am the oldest of 7, and the memoir starts in 1944. I'm 75 years old, and it goes to 1977, the year that our mother passed away. And so we all, when we would get together, which is at least once a year now that I've moved to California, been here about 15 years. Mm-hmm. And so when we all get together, we just have such a good time. We lost my oldest brother in 2013. He had lung cancer. And so I wrote this book in 1997 because I wanted to capture the way that our parents raised us. When we would get together, we would always talk about how we wish that Mama and Daddy could have bottled the way that they raised us. Mm-hmm. There has never been any sibling rivalry in our family, all the while when we were growing up. And so I wrote the book so that I would capture the way that they raised us. And it's for future generations, It contains photographs. It's about 20 pages of photographs and 20 pages of recipes, because food is a very important thing in our family. We always have what we call them feasts. And the photographs are there because future generations could have children that look like their ancestors, Oh my gosh, she looks just like Aunt Lou, and so on. Yeah, so, and it's 167 pages, which includes 22 pages of recipes and 22 pages of photographs. So I had written it and finished the manuscript, and I couldn't figure out what to call it. And my husband and I have been together for 62 years. We have been married for 52 years.
Amazing.
And so my brother that died was his best friend. And so he knows my family well. He adored my parents, my mother and my father. And so when he said that, after I had finished the manuscript, he was talking about how he said, all y'all have that line of serenity running through you. Mm-hmm. And so I was very intrigued by that statement. And so that's what I called the book, Line of Serenity. And the first 15 pages or so is my husband. He wrote the first 15 pages, and he describes what he sees as this line of serenity in each one of us, starting with my parents. Mm-hmm. And he goes all the way down through, starting with me, and then through the youngest one in the family is Ava, my youngest sister. Mm-hmm. And he describes what he sees in each one of us that describes this line of serenity. And then I go on to tell the story of how we were raised.
That is amazing. And then, of course, you went to have some other line of books. Now, did you guys get started on good short books at the time, or was this published under another publishing company?
No, this was published under another publishing company, but how to explain this? At first, it was on CreateSpace. Are you familiar with CreateSpace?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay. Now, CreateSpace was bought out by KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. Mm-hmm. So now they are it's print on demand. So the KDP, that's the ones who actually print it. But you can go to my website, goodshortbooks.com, but as this KDP is connected to Amazon. So you can also get my books at Amazon.com. The only difference is Amazon.com, you got to know the full title of the book. Mm-hmm. Whereas with goodshortbooks.com, you can see all of the books that are available, the 11 books that are available, and then you can click on it, and it takes you to a page that describes the book, and then you click on to order the ebook or paperback. You click on that, then it takes you directly to Amazon.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, I'm on Good Short Books right now, and I see that you have an interesting one, My 15 Dogs, and that looks like a really good one. Got to get dogs on there, and just tell us a little bit about that, especially for all the dog lovers out there.
Yes, that one is written by my sister, Anita Jones. When she was born, as I said, I'm the oldest of 7. So after I was born, then I got 2 brothers. Then I finally got a sister. And when she was born, I'm 5 years older than she is. Mm-hmm. She was brought home from the hospital to a Doberman Pinscher puppy.
Wow.
So they grew up together. Oh, my God. The story it'll make you laugh and it'll make you cry. Mm-hmm. Because, it's just a fabulous story. And so she went on, and I think Duke died. Duke was the puppy's name. We named him Duke. So, and he died, I think, when she was 12 years old, I think. She had written a story about Duke and put it away in the family's Bible. Mm-hmm. And years later, I don't think she was like in her 50s or late 50s or early 60s when she wrote the book. And so she had an affinity, a really deep love for dogs all of her life, from the time she was brought home from the hospital. So when Duke died, and that the story is in there, it just moves you all the way through your whole soul. And then she went on to have other dogs in her life. Even as a child, my daddy would always have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would be so fond of the dogs, and it's just amazing. The story that she tells is, and she could only remember like 15 of them. Mm-hmm. And the setting is that she's talking to all the young kids in the family, and she's got all the kids in the families. Their names are in the book and all of that. And she's talking to them. They found a puppy. And so they all know how Nita loves dogs, and so she wanted to find out if the dog belonged to anybody and all of that other stuff. And so then she went on to tell the kids how she had so many dogs in her life, and so the kids were egging her on to tell them the story of all these dogs in her life. And through the story that she's telling to them, the reader gets to be involved in the story.
Nice.
Oh, it's just amazing. It is amazing.
It is amazing, too, it sounds like. And can you recall what some of the breeds that she had in the story and growing up? And what is your favorite breed of dog?
My favorite is like the Doberman that, we had as a child, So that's my favorite, is Dobermans. We had Dobermans, we had German Shepherds, we had mixed breeds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing, too. And I thought you would have, like, different ones as well, too. I'm more of a lab person, to be honest with you, having German Shepherds and having a Shih Tzu, which are really cute. And I'm trying to think of the other one right now, which escapes me at the moment. We'll talk about some of the other books as well,
too. Oh, she has Dachshund, too.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. I had some friends that had Dachshunds. It's like every time I think of that, the old car before it came Nissan, the hot dog, as we used to call it. It's like, to pronounce, it's a hot dog. Oh, my God. All right, we'll talk about some of your other books and how you got started into writing. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. You can take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, and you can subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here at Joyce Fields of GoodShortBooks.com, and of course, having a little bit of coffee doing so. She's a self-published author and owner of GoodShortBooks.com, and published 10 books from relationship to fairy tales. We also talked about the dog story as well, too. Married for 52 years, breast cancer survivor. And, of course, before we get to some of your other books as well, too, what was that one moment that influenced you into writing itself, like an article or a book?
Well, I have always loved to read ever since I learned how. And I can remember sitting at the breakfast table, probably around 6 or 7 years old. Mm-hmm. And I would be eating my cereal with the cereal box in front of me, and I would read every word printed on it. Top, bottom, front, sides, everything printed on it. I even used to read matchbook covers. So
nice.
I used to read everything. I mean, it was unbelievable the way that I used to read. And I didn't realize that love for reading really teaches you how to write. If you pay attention, you have to look at how words are spelled, how sentences are structured, all of that, And so I really love English classes, where you have certain structure of sentences, and all of that. And so I didn't realize, and like I said, I didn't realize that I was almost being groomed unknowingly to be a writer, but I didn't realize it. So I ended up being a stenographer, and then being promoted to secretary, and then supervisor of word processing, and that was the first word processing center that the company ever had.
Wow.
And I had to design and implement and create the policies and the structure. I had to do it from the ground up.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. But so, and then, now in going back, in the 6th grade, I wrote a paper about the premise was that if our ancestors could come back and see the, quote, modern conveniences, quote, of that time, how they would really trip out, to see an automatic washing machine, and a clothes dryer and all of those things. And we used to, so I got an A on that paper, and so that was like 6th grade. But then fast forward to 1982, I wrote an article. I was supervisor of word processing at that time, and I wrote an article, the magazine, for the Office magazine, it was called. They are now gone out of business, but they ran a contest, and I didn't win the contest, but they still offered me $100 to print my article in their magazine. Yeah, I said yes to that. And so being the supervisor of word processing, my article was entitled Word Processing, Teach Concept, Not Operation. And so these schools were graduating students with the wrong idea about the operations of word processing centers.
Oh, wow.
So I told them to teach concept, not operation, so because when they were sending us students that had to unlearn what they had learned in school. Mm-hmm. And so that was what prompted me to write that article. And so they printed it, and then that was 1982. Then in 1997, when I wrote Line of Serenity, that book, the memoir, I also wrote in 1997 3 opinion editorials that were published verbatim in the Detroit Free Press.
Nice.
So I did that, and then that was 1997 when I wrote my first book. And so I've written 1997 to probably, let me see here, 1997 to 2015. That was when I wrote my latest book. That one is called The Golden Rule, The Limitless Golden Rule, 21 Ways to Use the Golden Rule in Your Life. And so I wrote, yeah.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Keep going here. You're doing good.
Well, so in 1997, I wrote Line of Serenity. 2003, I wrote Mother's Dozen. 2008 was The Best Way to Keep a Man is to Let Him Go, among other things.
Interesting title.
2000.
Interesting title. Best Way to Keep a Man is to Let Him Go.
That title, a lot of people got a lot of kick out of that title. A lot of people get a lot of it. Then 2009, it was The Vision, telling kids that they can make the world a better place. Then in 2009 as well, I wrote Jet Black and Her 7 Friends. That's the fairy tale. As a little girl growing up, there were no fairy tales about African-American children. So I wrote that one in 2009.
Good point.
2011, Yeah, there were no fairy tales about us. So in 2011, I wrote Dear Bully, a collection of poems about bullying, because it's devastating to see these kids committing suicide because of bullying. So I wrote 25 poems in 6 hours.
Wow.
It was like the universe just opened me up and it just poured out of my fingers, Mike.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it amazed me, too. In 2013, I wrote My Simple Quotes to Live By. It's 167 quotes that I coined. I coined my first quote unknowingly when I was 15 years old. They asked us, the graduating class from my middle school, they asked us to leave words behind for, quotes or whatever we wanted to give messages to the students that would follow us. And so I said, never lose your hope and faith. That quote has carried me through breast cancer, has carried me through a stroke, it just has carried me all the way through my life. And I there was a quote that I did that was submitted into a women's calendar contest, and it was one of the quotes that I coined was chosen out of over 5,000 entries, and I put it on social media regularly to encourage people. And that quote states, "It's better to die chasing a dream never caught than to die never having chased the dream." So I want people to know there are a lot of people out there that will just squash your dreams if you let them. So don't allow that to happen. It's better to die chasing it than to never chase it.
And I was going to ask you.
Then
go ahead.
And then I wrote in 2014, A Breast Cancer Journey to Greater Joy, taking the fear and mystery out of a breast cancer diagnosis. And I wrote that one because I wanted women to know that breast cancer does not have to be a death sentence. You can keep your hope and faith through all of that as well. But I've got pictures in that book of they're huge machines, the PET scan and the radiation machine. I didn't have chemo. I had a lumpectomy, where they just removed the lump in my breast, and then radiation.
Wow, that is something.
And now I'm cancer-free for 8 years.
That is amazing. Stage 2 survivor, 7-year stroke survivor. That is just amazing. We're very glad that you're with us, and I just love your good short books. We'll talk about the company, how you came up with that name, and a few others. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. You can also subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. We're here with Joyce Fields, self-published author and owner of GoodShortBooks.com. Published 10 books from relationships to fairy tales. Married for 52 years, breast cancer survivor. She talks about that in great detail. She wrote books from Linus Serenity to Mother's Dozen, also Limitless Golden Rule, Jet Black and Her 7 Friends, and many more. You can also visit her website at GoodShortBooks.com. And maybe I was going to ask you as well, too, how did you come up with the name of GoodShortBooks.com?
Well, let's see. We've had that website for at least 5 years. And so I was I don't know how many books we had written at that point, but, or by that point, but I don't know all of the books that we had written were short, but they were good. So I just, you know, how you go on to, you go to get a website and you see that name is available. That's what I did. I just looked up good short books, and I don't know if they allowed you to put an extension on it or .com, .net, .org or whatever, but I don't remember now. But I do remember that the name Good Short Books was available, and that's how I snagged it.
That is amazing, too. And what was the moment that influenced you into starting a publishing company? I mean, your first book was published under a different publisher being taken over, and then you also had 10 books, which are now under goodshortbooks.com. What influenced you to have your own publishing company?
Oh, I don't have my own publishing company. They're published under, at first they were published under CreateSpace, and I think that CreateSpace was also a part of Amazon. I know it was, because we had CreateSpace, the books were published under them. So, yeah, CreateSpace is a part of Amazon. But now KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, bought CreateSpace or took it over or whatever. So, and now that's the publishing company. My books are print on demand. When you order, it's when they print. They don't have an inventory of books. These are print on demand. So when you order, that's when it's printed and mailed to you.
Amazing. That is so interesting. I like that. And you also got them in audiobooks as well, too. And you also got
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right.
No, they're ebooks, but not audio. Not yet.
Okay, because I was looking on your website. It says audiobooks, and up comes my favorite, where it says, I lost the dogs. I guess it was a pop-up, and says available in audio format, but looking forward to that. And also, if you happen to sign up, you also get a free download the ebook. And just tell us about that. Okay.
I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called Kids Are Really Funny. That's the ebook as well, too. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, that's an ebook. You can download the ebook. Kids Are Really Funny. I wanted to offer something free on the website, and so I wrote this book, and I solicited funny stories from parents that their children had said. And so the book ebook starts out with two things that my own brothers said when they were like 4, 5, 6 years old. And one of them said when it was the first day of kindergarten, and my mother asked me, said, What'd you learn in kindergarten today, Reggie? He said, I didn't learn nothing. I got to go back tomorrow.
I think I'm hearing that all the time on social media, but at least he originated it.
And so, and then people responded, and they sent me their funny stories about what things that their kids had said, so. And one of my nephews said when he's almost 50 years old now, when he was about 6, his mother sent him upstairs to wash up. And he hollered back downstairs. He said, "What parts do you want me to wash?"
Oh, my goodness. Makes you think of that art.
So it's funny stories like that.
Makes me think of that art Linkletter program from way back when. Kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
Oh, my
God.
Right. and of course, this also came up as well, too. One of the books, it just came to mind, Mother's Dozen, which is a handbook of excellence in raising children. And, of course, systemizes the rules passed from generation to generation, preparing children for the world to come. It just makes me think of it, and I think this is like probably one of the must-reads for any parent as well, too, or, say, soon-to-be parent.
I think so. That's why I wrote it, and then when I wrote and I sent the manuscript off to the famous publishing houses, and they said that they are not interested in any child-rearing books unless they're written by psychiatrists, psychologists, I think it was psychologists, celebrities, or like ministers or whatever. So I thought to myself, who wants to raise their child the way a celebrity raises their children? I said, oh, my God. And so I did the next best thing, and I sent it off to my cousin goes to this huge church in Los Angeles called Fame, First African-American Methodist Episcopal, I don't know, something like that, but it's always called Fame. Michael Jackson went there. And so he read the manuscript. The pastor read the manuscript. Reverend Murray, Cecil L. Murray, he read the manuscript and sent me an email the most awesome foreword. He says in the foreword for Mother's Dozen, he says, Mother's Dozen is a handbook of excellence in raising children. It systemizes the rules passed from generation to generation regarding preparing children for the world to come. It involves tough love. It encompasses touchy-feely. It establishes fences that keep the wolf out and the sheep safe. It is common sense, the most uncommon thing in the world, particularly in this present age of negative imaging and self-raised rugrats. The quest is not for something new, but for something substantial. It is here. Every line brings an aha experience. The head nods yes. The will prods action. Well done. Well done. Reverend Cecil L. Chip Murray, First AME Church, Los Angeles, retired.
I was just going to say, that's amazing as well, too, and that's highly recommended for, with help raising kids and everything else. And, of course, speaking of relationships, I love the title of this book called The Best Way to Keep a Man is to Let Him Go. And I think of it as like, best way to keep a man is let him be himself. So you can just tell us about that book.
True.
And did I say that right, or did you have something else in mind?
Well, it doesn't mean, let him go does not mean put him out, leave him, make him go, or whatever. It means be secure enough within yourself, ladies, that you don't worry about where he is when he is not with you. So don't do that. These young girls nowadays, I don't even know what to say. They practically run him off. It's just texting him every half an hour, asking him where he's going, asking him when he's coming back. All of these kinds of questions, it's just, I don't know. Based on my observations and experiences, that's not a good thing to do.
And it seems like social media just kind of encourages people to text half hour, or what are you up to, or have the have like the symbols, like say like WT whatever, or LOL, LMAO, or SMH, and everything else. And of course, back when it's just like, hey, I'll be going with the boys, I'll be back. They're like, okay, well, I'll be home watching TV, I'll be out with the girls, or watch a movie, or play with the cat, or dogs in this case. So
yeah, but this stuff doesn't make any kind of sense, because the technological boom is already here. They are going to need people that know how to spell, and what they're doing now with this SMH and WTF and all that stuff. It's just, and then they don't spell the words out. They where are you? As they put in the letter R and the letter U. And so I'm not saying they're not going to know how to spell R and U. What I am saying, they're taking the emphasis off of. I text in complete sentences. I'm a writer. I can't do that stuff.
And of course, I remember back in the days, it's like texting was just writing little notes of paper and just pass it down the line, or just pass it directly to a person.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's That was our texting.
And, of course, go back to the older days, a handwritten letter and mail by the Pony Express.
Yes. Yes. It's really becoming so impersonalized.
Uh-huh. And of course, this is just really good books just to keep everybody level and whatever else. And there's just another thing that popped in my head, which I forgot to ask you. Who are your favorite writers growing up?
Well, some of these you wouldn't even. Well, the most common one, Taylor Caldwell. Now, she wrote novels. Now, I'm not into novels any longer. I'm into nonfiction. I like nonfiction. I don't want to waste my time with imaginary stuff. I want to deal with the real, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, Taylor Caldwell, I used to read her a long time ago. And now my favorites are Ta-Nehisi Coates, Michael Eric Dyson.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
That is amazing. That's something to look into. And what were your favorite books growing up?
Well, it started with fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
In Little Red Riding Hood.
Mm-hmm.
That was fairy tale. Now, I have read a lot of authors, and I also like what is his name? Oh shoot! Oh, I can't think of it now. Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer, yes, I remember him. That's right. And I'm trying to think what he wrote. I'm very familiar with him.
He wrote the Sky's the Limit.
Sky's the Limit. That's the one.
Yes. Yes,
mm-hmm.
that was. Now I've been so busy writing and just I've been doing a lot of writing of editorials. Haven't gotten successful yet, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep plugging away. So
mm-hmm.
I've been doing a lot of writing and also advertising, promoting my books.
Nice. That's very nice. And of course, we'll ask once again, where can they find your books? Goodshortbooks.com. I mean, it's been great talking to you. I'd like to have you on again. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, all my teachers. All my teachers, all the way through grade school. I think about them often, and I'm 75 years old, and I still think about the teachers that I had, especially my English teachers. And then my college English professor, when I first started writing, I've known her since 1974 or so, but she passed away last year. And every time I would write a book, I would send the manuscript to her.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would print out the pages and actually physically mail the manuscript to her, because she would love writing in the margins, and I still have some of the ones that I sent to her, and she sent me back with all the writings that she would put in the margins and how she loves this point and that point, and I made it really clear and all that kind of stuff, And so those were my biggest influencers.
That is very nice, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
As far as writing is concerned?
As writing or whatever you can think of, or maybe even, say, parenting or marriage or relationship.
Oh, okay. Well, here. This is my number one lead-in for, I'm going to say 2. Don't separate your money, because you separate your spirit when you separate your money. Have a general fund.
Mm-hmm.
You put all the money in it, and then the person who is most responsible is in charge of divvying out the money for the bills. And number 2, don't use sex as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important as well, too. And, of course, you and your husband have been together for 62 years, married for 52. And I guess the one question, many of us have is, how do you guys do it?
Well, you have to agree that divorce and separation are not an option. And that forces you to work through everything. And don't go to bed angry at each other. You know, one of you may not wake up the next day, and then you will forever carry that burden. You don't do that to yourself. Mm-hmm. That's a selfish way to look at it, but don't do it to yourself.
I think that's a good point, too. That's just amazing as well, too. You know, I've been married 28 myself, and, yeah, it is 28, and, or was it? I think I lost track. It's somewhere around there, but
well, men often do.
Well, we'll get that part next time. Talk about relationships, and I just want to say, Joyce, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. And once again, before we let you go, you're very fantastic. What's your upcoming projects? What's your website? And how do people contact you? And once again, where can they all find your books?
The books are at goodshortbooks.com, mm-hmm. and I also have an anti-bullying pledge on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, put in anti-bullying pledge -Joyce Fields, mm-hmm. and then you can see the whole anti-bullying pledge video. It shows the website, and then I direct you on how to get to the pledge. It is free on the website, and this video shows you how to get to the pledge once you get to the website. It's the anti-bullying tab on the website, and you just click that, and then the pledge comes up, and it's just absolutely imperative that we stop bullying from happening. And if we indoctrinate these kids on not bullying when they're 5 and 6 years old, this is what I'm talking about, then bullying will be drastically decreased. Mm-hmm. If we indoctrinate them to stop the bullying and to realize that is not a good thing to do, then we can make an impact on it.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very good point, too. We'll talk relationships next time. And Joyce, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. I've learned a lot from you, and I'll get to your books as well, too. And just want to say, looking forward to having you on again soon. And please do us a favor, keep us up to date.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.